Blessed is the one who has taught my hand to scribe the letters. Baruch hamilamed et yadi lesaper et haotiot. Amen. Okay, so last week we were doing a lesson. It was a lot of talking, and I'm sorry about that, but I only got this far down. So if you have this one, please take that out. Did you guys bring this one from last week? So basically what I was trying to do, and we'll continue with it, if that's the way God wants us to go, I was trying to explain how everyone, I asked the question, wouldn't that be amazing if everyone could be on the same page every week as to what you're studying in the Bible, as to how that connects with the feasts, as to how that connects with history and current events, and the events happening in Israel, because that's kind of the heart of everything. And there is such a way. There is this thing called the Torah Cycle, and it's basically, it started out at the time of Ezra, and there's set portions. We talked about their names being parashah. This is like a section of text that you read every week, and it has corresponding sections from the Haftarah. We went through some history about those, which were basically from the prophets and the writings, and how those connect to the Torah, and then how later on Jesus, that Yeshua was the Messiah, there were these sections added. Those are a lot less standardized. But every week, the majority of all kinds of people all over the world will be reading the same sections of text. And it's really amazing how it lines up with the feasts of the Lord and current events. And you'll find when you're tapped into it, your own personal life. So that's basically all of this here on this first page. And we'll just go to that very last little section. And again, this will be a week late. So this week we will begin a new book of the Torah, translated in English as Numbers. So the titles of the books of the Torah were perhaps logically translated. So Genesis, you have meaning beginning. That makes sense. Logical sense. Exodus, referring to the central event of the children of Israel leaving Egypt, the Exodus. That also makes logical sense. Leviticus, a book surrounding the many temple service rules, which the Levites, so you hear Leviticus, Levites, were primarily involved in it. That whole book is about the temple service. And then we come to Numbers, and that's where we are right now in the Torah. Numbers is named, it could be because the book begins with and contains a number of censuses and accountings. But Bamidbar is the Hebrew title for the book, and it means in the wilderness. So this just happens to be my husband's favorite book of the Torah. It's filled with awesome narrative and more instructions for holy living, abiding in God's Torah. As a prefix, the letter bet, it can function as a preposition meaning in, at, or with. So midbar is wilderness, and bimidbar would be in the wilderness. And to me, that's a little bit better of a title because it accounts all the things that happened in the wilderness versus just calling it Numbers, which is like, makes sense because you start out, boom, right off with a census, lots of numbers, lots of names, lots of accountings. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. What's that? Beit is house. It can mean house. Yeah, the ancient picture language, that's how Hebrew started out. It didn't look like lines and dashes and strokes. It was pictures like hieroglyphics, and we talked about that, I think, in our very, very first class. So going on with this page from Leviticus 24. So I wanted to look at the in succession, the words mentioned in that whole long page. And we're only going to go through a couple of them, and then we're going to go on to today's lesson. But I did want to finish this because I had it worked up. So Leviticus 24, 10 through 12. Now the son of an Israelite woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the sons of Israel, and the Israelite woman's son and a man of Israel struggled with each other in the camp. The son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name and cursed. So they brought him to Moses. Now his mother's name was Shalomit, the daughter of Divri, of the tribe of Dan. They put him in custody so that the command of the Lord might be made clear to them. So I gave you that text because this root word right here, parash, is the root for parashah. So parash, we learned, referred to the sections of text of the Torah that we read in unity worldwide by observant Jews, Messianic Jews, and believing Christians weekly in a set schedule. And it does make that definition of this word, parash. So it does make, sense that the definition of this word, parash, can mean, good job. That's so good. Good job, Avi. So we have this word parash, which is the root of the word parashah, referring to the sections of text of the Torah that's read weekly. And it can mean to make distinct, to declare, to distinguish, to separate, to clarify, or be distinctly declared. Okay, so that's kind of cool that the title of these sections we read are to make clear. So let's look at that word. We're going to practice. This is usually what we do with our Hebrew is we will learn vocabulary. We write out the English transliteration of the letter name, and then we practice writing it in Hebrew. So write the 3 Hebrew letters in parash here in English. So you need to fill in your worksheet. So first, tell me, I need to move this so the video can see it. I heard somebody say it. Which letter is this? Oh, yeah, with the dot in it, though. Okay. Pe. And then we have this vowel. What is his name? Say it. That was it. Kamatz. Kamatz. As I have said in the past, the title of the vowel gives you a hint as to its sound that it makes. So ka, ma says ah. Vowels go underneath the consonant letters. So you say the consonant first with the vowel. Yes, Kylan?
Where are we writing
You don't have this one, so don't worry about it until we get to today's lesson. We're basically finishing up last, so just hang in there. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't have extras from last week. Okay, next letter. What is his name? Resh. And he comes with a vowel. What is this vowel's name? Well, you can look on your sheet if you need. Okay, good. Ha, ta. And this also makes ah. And that might be confusing and seem weird. We don't have 2 A's as in A, E, I, O, and U, but in Hebrew there's different sounds. They're just slight differences, and it also comes with, traditionally Hebrew was learned, as I have said, just by memorization. And you have to memorize all these things and the vocabulary, and I am still learning. I am a learner for sure. Okay, next one. This letter is letter which?
Shin.
Good. All right, so if we're going to sound out this word, let's start from over here and then tell me what it's. So first, just this section. Pe with kamatz would be what? Pa. And then resh with patach would be what? Close. Ra. And shin, what sound does shin make? Okay, so parash. And that's where we get, it was to make clear or distinct. This is a word that's defining these sections of text called parashiot or parasha. Okay, so that was that. In Ezra 4:18, it says, "The letter which ye sent unto us hath been plainly read before me." So that's another example, to make it plain, okay? And that's what God wants us to do. His word is not, it has layers of meaning. There's absolute depth. There's things that we could read. We could read the Bible year after year after year, and each year it means something different to us. We get more from it. But he does not hide things from us. It's not hide and go seek. It's very plain. It's language. It's Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic in some books. And it really just takes a little bit of work to find out what's really written there. But it's not a mystery, as some might suggest. So perek is the modern Hebrew word for verse. Perek is found in the Bible, and it can mean to break apart, fracture. It can mean as in severity, cruelty, or rigor. But really, when we're labeling verses with numbers, it is a way to break apart sections, right? So, and I feel, as I said, I think right before the end of last class, I said originally there was no chapters, there was no verses. Chapters came later, verses came much later, but originally it was these parasha sections that I'm talking about. That's how the Bible was broken up. So as I mentioned in last class, when Yeshua stood up to read in the synagogue on a Shabbat, he read the Haftarah connected to the weekly parasha, and he didn't just randomly stand up to read Isaiah where he was reading from. He knew right where to go, right where to read, and it was very timely. And they do. They time up to your life. It's not something I can describe to you. You have to experience it, and it happens over time, being tapped into this cycle. So at any rate, we're going to learn the word perek. And I'll just give you an example of a biblical context of the word. Exodus 1:13, the Egyptians compelled the sons of Israel to labor rigorously, perek. But again, in modern Hebrew, it means verse. So let's learn the Hebrew word for verse, perek. We're going to do the same thing we just did. We'll keep up our vowels in case we need to use them again. I'm going to try green. Okay, so again, we have 3 letters. Hebrew words are most frequently just made from 3-letter roots. Okay, so let's do the first one. We should know who this is because we just saw him. So pe, and then he has a different vowel.
Sigel.
Very good. Okay, and what sound does segol make?
Set.
Close. Take Se-e-gol. Okay, so it's like an E-type vowel. Okay, all right, and then we have same.
Resh.
Good. And again, we have good. So thus far, if we were going to write it out, what will we have with just this part? Good. And then this part? Pere. So far? Pere. And then we're going to have now this letter. Which letter is this? Good guess. So.
Oh, that's gonna be kaf.
It is. Good job. What kind of cough?
It's the under one.
Okay.
I don't know.
So if this is kaf, and kaf is
Sof.
kaf sofi,
Sophie.
or final kaf, okay? Because at the end of words, and this is where we talked about this last week, there's no punctuation, no periods, commas, any of that. That inflection you have to learn from the context. And this is the only identification we have of the end of something. So at the end of a word, you'll have a final form of 5 of the letters. So we're learning that. Okay, and then Do y'all remember what this vowel? I kind of ignored him because honestly he's kind of still a mystery to me. Do you remember what he was?
Oh.
Shava.
Good. Shva. And for our purposes right now, we're just going to do what's called, I guess, a guttural stop. It's basically just like a pause. And if you're reading, just pretend like he's not there for now. Because there's different kinds of ways to read him. All right. That's the end of this section of last week's lesson that we didn't get to. Now let's move on to this week. And what we have is, the first thing I want you to look at is this calendar page. Okay, why? It's printed on both sides, right? Okay, good. I don't know why that one's like that. So you should have a page like this. This is really cool. If you never continue with the class, keep this because it is God's calendar. This is the coolest one I've seen because it lines up our months with the Hebrew months. But what's more is it really shows you the agriculture aspect of it. When you understand what all the feasts mean, what we're praying for, all the liturgy, connected with the parshiot, the sections of Torah we're reading, connected to the weather and plant life, it's pretty outstanding and amazing the way God has set it all up. So that's what this is. So, and then you go to this page, the stapled paper that I gave you, and I will begin. So today I would like to dig into the Hebrew calendar. Actually, we're just going to scratch the very surface because we have such a limited time here. But we will learn vocabulary in this way about the new month. And if you remember, the new month is Rosh Hodesh. And we just entered into a new month. You will notice, maybe start to tap into it. If you start marking, gosh, it's really dark at night. It's really, really dark. That means you are getting towards Rosh Khodesh. The new sliver of the moon's going to start appearing, and that's the beginning of a new Hebrew month. It's tracked by the moon. When you see a full moon, you'll know, gosh, we're right in the middle of this Hebrew month. So like during Sukkot, it begins in Tishrei 14. That's just about the center of a month, right? So you'll always have this brilliant full moon right at the start of the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles. So it's really cool. You start tapping into the universe, into the earth, into all these things, and I think that's what God intended. So you'll notice tonight, if you look, it's a real small little sliver, and it's going to get brighter and brighter nightly. But we welcomed in this new Hebrew month, which is Sivan. The more detailed colored drawing handout is the entire year, and it clearly shows that everything about God's calendar is connected to his children. Because what does God need to know about plants and when this one grows or when that one needs water? He doesn't really need that, but it shows how much he wants to be tapped into us, his children, and what we're putting our hands into doing. So that is his people on earth who will be working it and guarding it, just like the original mission of mankind in the garden. That's really, really good. Good job. You should try to do your own to the side of them, maybe. So specifically, we learn that God's calendar is tied to our lives, which were, in earlier times, entirely dependent upon the produce of the land, foods being grown and stored. Guess what our lives still are? But we just are detached from it because we can go to the store if we need tomatoes, or we can go to the store if we need milk. But our lives depend on it. And it's really great to learn how to grow your own food. You can grow a lot of things in Sierra Vista. I did not know that when I first moved here. I thought it was a barren wasteland, with a cactus and like a tumbleweed rolling by. But now it's a very rich land, and this climate is
very long, very simple.
It's amazing. It's very, very, very similar to Israel. It's almost one of the closest climates that I know of in the whole of the United States. So it's kind of cool that we can connect to them in that way too. And I mean specifically Sierra Vista area because we see all the seasons And we even get snow at times. So, let's see. Everything had to do with agriculture. The Bible and God's Torah, his laws regarding tithing, it all ties in to this thing right here. What to give back. The rest years, the Shemitah or sabbatical years for the land. And the offerings too, because a lot of the offerings had to do with grain and wine and oil. So all of that will make a whole lot more sense to us when we understand this in connection to the Bible. So Exodus 12 and verse 2, it says, "This month shall be the beginning of months for you. It is to be the first month of the year to you." Now, if you remember, we're coming, Sunday is the Feast of Weeks. Shavua means week. Shavuot is weeks. So the Feast of Weeks, or also known as what? Can you remember any of the other names? The Feast of... What else is Shavuot known as? Maybe my kids. Pentecost, yeah. How about more Hebrew terms? What do we make the baskets about, you guys? What are the baskets we make? Say it again. First fruits. So the Feast of the First Fruits. Feast of the Harvest is another one, right? Okay, so we learned the word Shavua for week. Now we're going to learn the word for month, okay, which is Khodesh. So go ahead and say Khodesh with me and try and phlegm it if you can. Khodesh, okay? Because that's the chet and that's the sound that it makes. So, and I gave you the first one away. So Khodesh means the new moon. What do you need, baby?
I think Miles had, because he didn't have that.
Oh, okay, yeah, here, let me give you this then. Thank you, buddy. Hi. That is so good. Yeah, you gotta you gotta keep me on track. I'll help you later. You go sit over there for now, okay? Not right now. Hang in there. When he's going around like a crazy one, then you guys can, but don't force that. Okay. Khodesh means new moon. It can mean month. Monthly, the first day of the month, and it refers to the lunar month. It comes from the root Khadash, which means to be new, to renew, repair, to renew, make anew, to repair or renew oneself. So I think that's pretty beautiful, that the root for month comes from the word new or renew or repair. From Psalms 51, verse 10, it says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God," and there's our word, "renew a steadfast spirit within me." It is taught that every Rosh Chodesh, every new month, is a chance to reemerge as a person, like the moon in our lives, like a new creation. I can personally say that the new moon holds the significance for me at times in my personal life. It's a great time to think about the sins in our lives and come to God in repentance for them. We could make goals and try to change for the better in this month. No, you can't have this one, baby. Some liken each new moon to a sort of mini Yom Kippur, which was like a clean slate before the Lord. So that's kind of cool. So now we're going to learn the word Khodesh, okay? So let's learn Khodesh.
Celeste,
Yes.
Christina doesn't have this week.
Which, oh, okay. You don't have the lesson, baby? I'm sorry. I only gave, actually, let me give you the calendar too. There you
It's
go.
not your fault. She's just.
You gotta get my attention.
She's not gonna yell at you. She's nice.
I can see that. Okay. All right, let's do Hodesh. All right, so we've got 3 letters. Hebrew is read from right to left. That's why my Hebrew book's open that way. I don't have one right now to show you. All right, so for Khodesh, we start with this letter, which I kind of already gave away. So which letter is this? No. Did you say hey? This is hey. Good guess. It's a look-alike letter, so don't feel bad about that. What letter is this? Okay, that's a good guess too. That's another look-alike letter, but it's not Tav. Tav has our toe. Remember with the tapping toe for Tav. If you don't see that, it's not Tav.
Shit.
Good. So we want to say chet, though, with that little phlegminess. Chet. And we have a vowel. What vowel is that, guy? I'll give you a hint. So those aren't necessarily. Go ahead, you know where it is. Yeah, so good. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, the dots on top of the shin.
What is he doing?
Avi, go with Miss Elizabeth. He actually knows, but he went out the wrong door. Thank you. So yeah, those dots, Malachi, on top of the shin and the sin, those aren't vowels. Those are just indicators of the sound it makes. This is a vowel. There'll be a ball on top of any letter. So really, shin could take that vowel too and have 2 dots. I don't have one right now, so go ahead and take a seat. I might grab one. So does anybody know what vowel this is? You have a vowel sheet, so I'm going to wait for you to find it. Not very long, but I will wait.
Danny, find your vowel sheet, please.
The vowel sheet looks like,
You can't focus on your.
if somebody's got the vowel sheet, hold it up.
It's colon vowel.
So good guess. Cholam vav has to have a vav, right? To be a cholam vav. But this cholam vav. So yes, correct. You were on the right track. Cholam. What sound does he make? The hint is in his name. Say it again.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So we have chet with cholam. What sound do we have so far just with that consonant and vowel?
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. And now we have this letter. Which letter is this? I wish I had a block.
Good.
Okay, so yod is very small.
Yeah.
Yes, that's dalet. This is dalet. Dalet. And we have with him our, which vowel is this? It's over here already.
Oh, segel.
Good. Okay, so dalet with segol would make what sound? Well, what sound does dalet make? Dalet. Dalet? D, like a D.
Oh.
The.
What was I thinking?
That's
I was
okay.
Thinking of the.
That's all right. So we've got dalet with segol. So what do we have then? D sound with E sound. So what will it be? So you want to make your consonant sound first of your letter, consonant letter, which is dalet. So it's D. And then you're going to put it with your put it with your segol, eh. So D with eh. De. Ko de. So far we have ko de, ko de. Now we have this letter. Good. I didn't even put the dot, but you knew. This is shin. And what sound are we left with? What sound does shin make by itself?
Nothing.
No, aleph is, and ayin are the silent letters. Yep. Shh.
You were right.
Okay. So we have Khodesh, which again comes from the root. It means month. Okay. And the root means new. It's new, renew. It's a refreshing start. Okay. So what were the difference? So here we have Hodesh. Here we have our root Khadash. And I'm gonna just spell out. So what's the difference? What's the difference between Hodesh and Khadash? Sorry, can you even see it? Probably can't even see it. I'll put it up. I'm gonna put it up. This is. Can you see it from here?
Yeah.
Okay. Podium in the way. What's the difference? It's just what? Are the letters different?
Okay.
Are the letters different? Because this is Khadash. This is the.
different.
It's
Yeah.
just the vowels, correct. So the difference would be what? That instead of Cholam, we have and instead of Segol, we have. Okay, so that's the only difference. And you can see that it doesn't change other than those things. The new month, Rosh, remember Rosh comes from this Hebrew letter Resh, which in the picture language, remember I made the little Trump hair flip. Resh. It means head, okay? Resh. You remember that from, I think it was last week. So Rosh, Resh, head of the month. Khodesh is month. So head of the month, beginning of the month. Okay? Rosh Khodesh. We welcomed it in last night. It can span over 2 nights if you don't see the moon. It depends, but it's good to mark it on the first of the month. You can go over into the second. Rosh Chodesh we welcomed in last night. It's the Hebrew month on God's calendar. This month is called Sivan. Sivan. And there are many significant things that took place in this month. But the most important thing is that the giving of the Torah, when they were at Sinai, and God said, here's my offer to you. This is my constitution for a holy nation. Do you accept it? And they said yes. It's also likened to a wedding. So, and that's what we're going to celebrate this coming Sunday for Shavuot. So, I don't know if I'll inflict it on my children, but there's traditions to stay up all night the night before and just read the Bible, learn the Bible. It's traditional to read the story of Ruth because it's the wheat harvest, which is another thing we commemorate. What are some other things? You eat dairy products. So I'm making cheesecake and cheese, everything. Cheese coffee. Put a lot of cream in the coffee. Heavy cream. At any rate, we're gonna learn the word Sivan now for the Hebrew month of Sivan. And next time, you guys gotta remind my children to bring a black marker because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. I think me and Kylan tried to do it once, and we drank a bunch of coffee. And I don't think we made it. I don't think we made it. I think I must have a black marker, actually. You wake up early. If you think of it, wake up really early on Sunday morning and say a special prayer and thank God for His Word. Thank God for His Word made flesh, for Yeshua. Thank God for giving us His Holy Spirit because that happened on the same day. The giving of the Holy Spirit in Acts. What's that?
The playground.
The playground. If you clean up your area, Aaron, you want to go, and then Malachi can take you. Or maybe Kylan, because it seems like Malachi's more engaged. I don't know. You guys are both doing great. Okay, let's go on. Sivan. It's a 4-letter word. And this is one of the feasts. It's a little harder for me to host parties for, but I am having a challah making class on Saturday night. If anybody wants to come, 6:30, my house. Why? Because the only offering that was brought leavened was this Feast of Pentecost offering, Feast of Shavuot offering, which included 2 leavened loaves. So I thought it would be fun to have a challah class. You guys want to come? Okay, 6:30, Saturday night, my house.
This Saturday?
Yes. And Sunday's the actual feast. But again, I don't usually know how to host that one because we just kind of hang out all day, eat, play. We have games we do and different things. Learn, read. They get lots of reading. Okay, so we're doing Sivan is where we're at. The Hebrew month we have just welcomed in. Sivan. So That is a good guess, but no. Okay, grab one of them too,
Oh,
whichever one.
Sama.
Samech, very good. Samech. So this is Samech,
Can we go to playground?
and yes, you can. Whoever wants to take them, but only one of you, please. Here we have another vowel. Which vowel is this?
That's the Kirik Yod.
So this is just Kirik, because there's no yod there. But that's very good. Kirik. And what sound does he make? Like a lowercase I or like E? E.
Yeah.
Kirik. Kirik. So if we were going to write just this here out, what would we have? Go ahead. Yeah, and our own. Thank you. Just stay at the playground. Okay. Samech with Kirik, what sound do we have?
C.
C. Perfect. So you said it perfect. C. And then we have. Oh, you know what? You were right. You were so right. This is a Kirik Yod. You are still right. Yeah. C is how you'd pronounce it.
So we put the Yod.
Yeah, so Yod in this word is part of the vowel.
Oh.
So I guess what I have this wrong to where it actually is just 3. So I'm going to go in and change that. But yeah, interesting. Cool. Thank you for picking up on that. This is part of the vowel. Okay, so we have C. And then we have this letter.
That's Ayin.
So ayin is more like this.
Oh, wait. Zion.
And Zion is like this.
Vav.
Yes, you got it. Okay. And then we have with Vav this vowel.
What's confusing
Good?
is they don't, with Vav, they put a slant in it. So when you put like that,
Let me see.
they got. I marked it extra because I always forget about that vowel.
Alright. Okay. All right.
So, I don't know.
So yeah, so that just goes with the style, I guess. I've always put mine just like that. Yeah, and I apologize. It's
No,
just
it ain't
the
your fault.
it's just the handwriting
I didn't know.
style. But I'm glad you're paying attention. That's awesome. So Vav with kamats would be what?
Oh.
Vav. It's okay. It happens.
Um,
I don't know why it happens. Why does that happen? Just random twitches when your eye just. Anyway, Vav with kamats would be what?
Ah.
Vav,
Oh, Va.
va. And then we have
Ah.
this final letter, Siva. So far we have.
That's a giant bob.
I.
No,
Is it a Bob?
it's not a Vav at all. If it's going lower than the other letters, that should give you a clue that it's a final letter. So this is Noon Sophie, right? Yes. This is how Noon looks on his own. Noon. But if we want him to be Noon Sophie, he's going to go down lower.
It's just a giant bob.
And what sound does he make?
Got new.
Like an N. Sivan. So say Sivan. Sivan. And that's the month we're in. Welcome, Sivan. All right, so we did that, and I need to change that in the lesson. Thank you for picking that up. I'm going to read a little more, and then we're going to do some writing practice. We can go over a little bit because I was late. Over the years, several tragedies have befallen the Jewish people during this month of Sivan. In 1096, during the first days of the month of, that can't be a correct date, mobs of frenzied crusaders murdered Jews in Worms. I am bad at these. I don't know other languages. Mainz and other Rhinish cities. Following the 1171 massacre of the Jews of Blois, France, who had been falsely accused of murdering a Christian child. Rabbeinu Tam, a famous sage, declared Sivan 20 to be a fast day. This was reinforced after thousands of German Jews were butchered during the 1289 Rindfleisch massacre at the same time of the year. So this is a pattern. I don't quite understand it. It's in God's timing and hands, but at certain times of the year after year, not like every single year, but time, century over century, things will happen. For example, the first Holy Temple was destroyed on the same day, like where it was determined to be destroyed as the second Holy Temple. Like the same week, the same month, the same period. If you don't feel comfortable with it saying, oh, the same day it fell, and crumbled, fine. Within the same week, same month, for sure, the whole first and second Holy Temples were destroyed. That's no coincidence. And then throughout time on that same day, trauma, murder, killings of Jews. I guess I didn't really realize Sivan was wrought with this much significance as far as persecution of the Jewish people. But you can see in these time periods, it just goes on and on. During this month, there's a lot of persecution, just to put it mildly. So in 1648, the Cossack riots. It's now a memorial for the victims of that, because many met their death at this time of year. So I just want that to be said, because we want to bring history into current, and we want to bring current into past. We want to connect it all and understand what it all means, because there surely is a big picture. If there's a great big God who has it all planned out, it's a big picture. And when you see things like that, you should take note of it. So I'm going to read this little section, and then we're going to try and write this out. And I think that's as far, well, that's going to be as far as we're going to get today. So Exodus 19, and this is where we are right now, in real time, and looking forward to the festival this weekend. In the 3rd month, after the sons of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt. So Sivan, if you look on your calendar, right, let's just take a peek at that real quick. You can see that it's numbered. You have Nisan, which was when Passover is the first biblical month of the year. And then you go, again, left to right. You're going to go around this way. Iyar, we just left Iyar, the 2nd month, and now we're in Sivan. It's the 3rd month. So in the Bible, you will have the Babylonian names of the month. You will have names by numbers, and you have that here too. So that's very handy when you're reading the Bible, and it says in the 7th month such and such happened. Now you can read here and know that that was Nisan, and that's a very significant month as you begin to learn about the calendar. So in the 3rd month, that is which month? We just learned it. Sivan. After the sons of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on that very day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. When they set out from Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. And there Israel camped in front of the mountain. Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the sons of Israel, You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession among the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the sons of Israel. So we're going to write down that verse, and we're going to read it. So I'm going to write it. We're going to identify the letters. We're going to try and read it together. It's a little bit of a challenge, but we can do it. Okay, so I'll just do it word by word, and I think and I'll finish the page, and then we'll do Shema, and then that's where we're going to stop. So if you want to call out the letters as I'm writing them, go for it. If not, we'll just do it together. And that one's a little too. Okay. All right, I'm trying to make them in line. All right, let's just do 2 words at a time. Okay, so we have 2 words here. We have this one and this one. We'll just go from there. So, what I want to do instead of just writing out I want you to tell me the sounds, okay? I'm going to put it a little closer so we don't lose the whole board. All right, so what I mean is tell me what sound. First of all, let's identify them. What letter is this?
Vav.
Yep, and it comes with the shva, which I told you to just ignore. So what sound do we have right here then? Good, just v. Now we have, what letter is this?
Aleph.
Good, and it has patak, so what sound does it make?
Ah.
Yep, va. And then we have this letter, which is what?
Tav.
And which vowel is that?
That is segul.
Okay, so tav with segol would be what?
Yeah.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's what sound that makes, but
Ta, ta, ta.
good. Te, and
Mem.
good. And what sound does he make?
Mm.
Vatem. Vatem. Okay? And that means, okay, did you remember I told you that vav also can be the word and? Because in the ancient picture language, it was like a hook that joins things together. You remember? So, vatem means and you. Okay, now here we go to the next part. Which letter is this?
Tav.
Okay, it's tav with kirik. So what sound is it gonna make?
Let's see. E.
With the tav first. So the tav sound with
Oh,
that
T.
E, T. And then we have which letter?
Hey.
Good, it's hey, and then again a shva. So this is shva,
Oh, yeah,
shva.
right.
It's okay. Segol would have it be
The 3.
side by side, actually, just like this, right?
Yeah.
Wait, no, this is
Segul
segol.
3.
What's the other one? I'm blanking out.
Oh,
Segol and help me. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
I got it. I got it.
Segol and
Tespi.
sere.
Oh, Sere.
Yeah, sere. Thank you. My goodness, that went away. Sere and it's eh. Okay, so we have hey with shva. So what sound do we have? Just the consonant sound?
Hey. Test hey.
Well, what sound does hey make just by itself?
Hey. Yeah.
Right? So we have T, and you can hardly hear it. It's just
Oh,
a
so
breath.
Hey.
T, T.
T.
So
hey.
far,
T. Hey.
but let's get let's get this one now.
This sucks.
Which letter is this? It's okay. We're challenging a little tad. What is this guy?
Yo.
Yod. And what sound does he make?
Yeah.
Okay. T. T. You can if you say it, you can kind of feel the hey, the H in your throat. T.
T.
You can, it's there. It's just hard to define. Okay, and then this is what? We have another vowel there.
Bob.
It's a certain kind of vav.
Sophie.
N- not colon vav, it's,
Sophie.
nope,
Bob.
something vav.
Another form of Bob.
Another form of vav, which would be what? Okay, remember the basketball player. Colon. Oh, the ball. Oh, I want the ball. Or it's in its belly. And then he says, ooh. So what is his name, though?
Teehee.
You guys have it on your sheet. It's shuruk vav. Shuruk vav. Okay? Oh, man. On the bars.
I was trying to sound out the
That
name
hurts.
for
Go
some
put it under
reason.
cold water in the bathroom. Poor buddy. First blister, or like a rip. That looks more like a rip. Okay, so Shuruk Vav, what sound does he make again? I just gave you the illustration. It's either O or it's, well, it's in his belly, so he's ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
T.
Tihu. Tihu. I'm not going like this. That's a hard word.
I don't know why I was trying to sound out the name when we were doing the vowels. I was like, T, and then I was like, wait.
And you.
Wait.
Shelby.
Well,
Oh,
if you
this
say
is a
T,
good word.
It's like Shelby, so it rhymes almost. But it's
Tihu.
T-U.
Tihu.
Oh, T-U.
Tihu. Okay, let's go on. This is a short word, but it's a really important word. This word is beautiful. I love this word.
Oh, that's
Lamed. I can't.
Lamed.
Okay, with what vowel? It's a vowel. It's a vowel that he brought out for me. I need to put it over.
Kirik Yod.
Yes, Kirik Yod. Kirik Yod. So Kirik Yod. It's both of these sounds together. So it's E, Y. But it's usually like you really don't say it like that most often. Yes.
Sean doesn't have a sheet. Do you have a vowel sheet?
I don't know if I have one, but I want to get him all the handouts. I just don't know if I have that. I think I put one there for Kylan to.
Oh.
Yeah. So actually he does. Yeah, technically he does. But I wanted to get him everything together. Yeah. Because there's been a lot of handouts. Yeah. I know. I told him at the very beginning it's gonna be. But if you go back, to the videos and stuff, then he can.
help him, but I hardly know this myself.
Yeah.
So
See?
I can't really.
And she's my 15-year-old daughter. We broke off from it at some point and did other things. Okay, where am I?
I'm trying to see how I can say I can't really.
You're fine. You're all fine. You're all wonderful. Okay, this letter is what? We said lamed with Kirik Yod. So what sound is this gonna make? Lamed. What sound does lamed make by itself? It's a consonant. Just a o. L sound, right? O. And then we have E. So this word is li. Look at it that way if you want. Look at it this way. But this word is so beautiful, especially when God is saying it, because it means to me. So beautiful. And you shall be to me. This is a cool word. We'll go here and see. We'll probably have to stop here.
Wait, what time is it?
It's almost 15 after, and we still need to do Shema. This is one of the longer Hebrew words that we've looked at. Instead of being 3 or 4, it is more than that, but it's got some. Okay, so what letter is this? Where's the boys? What the heck? We're almost done. I need your input. Okay, what letter is this? Kylan, you know what letter that is? You know what letter this is? Okay, mem. Okay, so what sound would it make? Ma. Okay, yeah, that's correct. And then this is mem with the shva, which is silent. So what would it be?
Wait.
Just the consonant sound. We're here now. So yeah, so we did, and if you want to write it in the pink, left to right. All right, so this is really where we are. We just did mem with patak, ma. Now we're, what is this again?
Mem.
With shva. So what sound do we have right with that?
Ma.
Just m.
Oh,
So right now we've got mum,
Mom.
mum,
Mom.
and then what letter is this?
Which letter?
Right
Oh,
here.
Lamed.
Lamed with
Kirik. No, Segul.
okay, so what will we have then?
Le.
Good. And then this letter?
Bet.
I know it.
Okay, so that's a good guess. You guys are on the right track. This is vet.
It just won't come
Bet.
out.
No, bet is the dot in the middle.
Yeah.
Ka.
Good. That's chaf with
Sickle.
So put them together. What sound does chaf make? It's that ch sound. So chaf with segol.
Say mommy.
Right now it's mamle. Mamle.
Mommy.
But what's this? This is we need this consonant with this say
Hey.
che. Che. And then this letter mamleche,
Tav.
which makes what sound?
T.
Mamlechet. Go ahead and say it with me. It's fun. Mamlechet.
Mom.
A kingdom. And God wants us to be to Him a kingdom. His kingdom come. Part of His kingdom come and His will be done has to do with our lives, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to stop there. No, I want to read this real quick. It should be recognized that this day in the text, the second day of Sivan, which was yesterday, today is Sivan 3, is known as Yom HaMeyuchas, a day of distinction, because it was on this day that the people agreed to the ketubah, or the wedding document. In Jewish weddings, there's like the man and the woman write up their agreement. They both sign it. It's super smart. Y'all should consider doing that when you eventually get married, so you know what to expect, right? Because that's the way it works.
Record, your future spouse, the man, your wife should say, "You helped me with everything while we were dating. You're gonna help me continue when we're married."
That's one of the
You
bullet
are
points.
not allowed to stop helping when we are married.
Oh, we have a whole
That
list
should
of
be right there.
bullets on
Yes,
potential ketubah content.
it's true.
But yesterday was the day of distinction because it was the day that they agreed, they signed up to adhere to the Constitution of a holy nation, God's Torah, which includes, as we saw, you can see it right in the verse above, all the words that were spoken at Sinai. And there was many more than 10 instructions given for this holy lifestyle on that day. We are right now in a period which is known as Sheloshet Yamei Hagbala. And I was going to spell that out, but we don't have enough time. The 3 days of limitation, or 3 days of restraint, because after the people said yes to Hashem, before He could give the Torah, He said, for 3 days you purify yourself. So this is like an intensified period before we get to Shavuot, where we can really do some internal cleaning, so to speak. Okay? So we'll end it there. We'll sing Shema. And I'll get you the Shema sheet too, but you can just repeat after me. So it's, Hear, O Israel.
Hear, O Israel.
The Lord is our God.
The Lord is our God.
The Lord is one.
The Lord is one.
And it's Shema,
Shema.
Yisrael,
Yisrael.
Adonai,
Adonai.
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu.
Adonai, Echad. And we sing it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And thank you. We'll continue this next week. Thank you.
Wait, Jesse.